Here we are. Hold on.
I think we're back. We're back.
Hey! We're just like tricking people.
Oh, mate. Do you know, so one of my things I was going to talk to you about was how are you coping with technology and podcasting? Because I know technology is not your thing. And then I've walked in and I'm like, ah!
Oh, you've hit the nail on the head. It's killing me. I'm so lucky that we have, and he's only relatively new. He's only been working with Challenge Family for about 6 months now, but he's young and very good looking, but we won't tell anyone else that. And he started working for Challenge Family, and his name's Christian, and he's in charge of all our social media and media marketing. And he's been my absolute godsend, because without him, I would literally be screwed, because you're dead right. I am useless with technology. And the main reason is because I have the patience of a peanut. If it requires me to do any sort of reading of instructions, I'm out. I can't do it. So usually, even when I get like a new phone, I often give it to Justin and say, can you just read it, set it up like my last one and give it back to me, read what needs to be done, any changes, and just tell me.
I also love that on your phone you're like this.
Yeah. I've got the biggest font. Everyone that looks at my phone goes, geez, your font's really big. I said, well, I'm part blind, so, what do you do?
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm just getting...
Don't get old.
Avoid it.
Avoid it at all costs.
I'm just getting a couple of comments from people because I was worried that things weren't working well. So I just want to triple check with everyone. Can you hear both Belinda and I okay? If the volume seems really loud, that's normal.
That's because that's our normal talking voice. Sorry, people often say Belinda, inside voice.
Which is like, rat!
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, anyway, shit.
Anyway, it's all right. It's all right. I can use my inside voice if we have to.
No, I think we're good. We're good. Everyone's saying, yep, we're good. So let's go back to your podcast. And I've had a few people already say that they're loving your podcast. You've only done
maybe about
four or five? Yeah, okay.
Too many.
And how's it all going? Are you enjoying it?
It's funny, Steph. One thing that's come out of this whole crazy coronavirus is the people that are going to make it, because obviously for a lot of people, the economic, we're just talking before, it's tough. It's tough on everyone. I don't think there's one person I know that I'm friends with or acquaintances that haven't suffered from this in some shape or form financially. But the companies and the people that seem to be able to beat it or get through it or survive it are the ones that are able to reinvent themselves in some way. And when I sat down, obviously my main job as pro liaison is to liaise between the professional athletes and the race directors on events. But with no events in the world, it sort of makes my job a little bit void. So I had to come up with a way of making my position stay relevant. And one of the things we thought of was, I was really concerned. I'm not lying now. I was genuinely concerned and still am about many of the pro athletes out there and how they're coping with this.
Sure.
I know our top 50 aren't an issue. All right. A lot of the women you get on your show, the top pros like the Rinnies of the world, I know they're doing fine. They're set up. They've got great sponsors, and they've been financially making good money for many years now. But for majority of our professional athletes, this is absolutely not the case. And they rely solely on prize money and on bonus money from sponsors. And so I was genuinely concerned for a lot of them. So that's when I started talking with Christian. We'll go back to Christian, the gorgeous new boy that is quite good looking.
You're a dirty old woman, you are.
Justin, I'll make sure he doesn't listen to this so he won't know. But he's just a delightful guy, and he's very young, so he's a forward thinker. And he said, well, you know what, Belinda, we could actually do something that you'd like, because it gives you a chance to connect with the pro athletes to see how they're actually going, and we can use it and make a podcast. And I thought, well, okay, let's give it a go. And it's funny, everyone says, oh, this is right up your alley, it's perfect, but it's still something completely different and something that I don't normally do. So I'm not Steph Hansen. I mean, you're a pro at it, you're brilliant at it, you've been doing it for years now. I still get a little bit nervous and I sound a little bit I don't know, sloppy at the start, but once I get into it and then I just actually treat it as a conversation of me trying to catch up and find out how they're going, then it's fine. But I still stumble a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah, right. It's interesting. It definitely is a skill that will grow on you the more you do it. But I think you nailed it when you said that the second that you start looking at it as just a conversation with a colleague or a friend is the key with podcasts, particularly because you've got that opportunity to have those extended conversations. You're not really on a time limit. A 5-minute panel interview or something like that. And that's where you will flourish, I imagine.
So no, it's good. And I don't just want to interview the top pros, because I actually know that they're doing really well. And they're normally the ones with the great gym setups and the indoor pools, endless pools. It was great doing a podcast with Rennie and Tio the other day because they're just such an awesome couple, and it is cool to see how they're coping in Boulder. But I more wanted to do Steve McKenna or Kieran Linda's up-and-coming pros that are relying solely on doing well at races and they can't race. So I'm more interested in connecting with that next tier down to see how they're coping with this current situation. And the worst part being, Steph, is none of us know when it's going to end.
Yeah.
I had a very depressing conversation today with our captain from Virgin Airlines. We just happened to be getting our takeaway coffee at the same place. And I eavesdropped, as I always do. I heard he was a captain. So I said, have you been given any download when we're going to start flying again? You know me.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, God. He said, well, look, as soon as the borders reopen, the domestic travel will be up and going in no time. So as soon as we stop the closures of our domestic borders, flying will be back to normal, and that won't be too far away. That will be this year 100%. I said, well, I'm not really interested in that. I want to know about international. I said, I fly. I got to get to these events. And he said, you know what? He goes, I don't want to sound like a downer on this, but it could be a year. And my heart just sank. I said, no, surely that's got to be the absolute worst case scenario. A year? That's freaking next April, next May.
Good maths there. Solid maths.
That's all I can think. I'm like, but I've been told October, November. What's going on? So anyway, I know it's all he's saying. We don't know. None of us know. But it was a little bit. I went to the coffee shop feeling pretty good about life. I walked home feeling pretty shitty again. So
yeah,
I think that's the hardest thing for our pro athletes is just not knowing.
Totally, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride the entire time. Exactly what you just said. This morning you felt great and fine, and then like that, yeah. And I kind of feel like we just need to sit into it and ride it as much as you can. It's okay to have those feelings when you're feeling just really down about it, and then hey, I'm okay at the moment.
Totally. And it's funny. I've been relying on my mum a lot. My mum's. And my mum.
She's the best.
The boot. That was called the boot. The boot. She's been my absolute lifesaver through this because she knows me like no one else, and she knows I love my job and I love to travel and I love being at events and working with the pro athletes and working with the race directors and the teams. I'm in my element. And after I'd heard that today, the first thing I did was ring her on the phone, and she just puts it all back into perspective for me. And I know I'm turning 50 this year, and I should be mature enough to be able to deal. I know, God help. I'm hoping that I don't have to do it. Maybe we can just pretend this year didn't exist. So
exactly.
Next year. But she just puts it all into perspective, and it's something I'll always I'll never take for granted with my mum. So I'm feeling a lot better now than what I was, thanks to my ma.
Yeah, good work, Mama. Jordan Blanco is tuning in, and she said she was so lucky to have hung out with both of us in January this year. So hello to Jordan.
You know what? I adore Jordan and her husband. Her husband, he's a good sort too, by the way. She'll agree with me. Don't worry. I've already talked.
He's a handsome guy.
He's a handsome young fellow. And he's another one. Doesn't say anything unless it's worth saying.
Yes.
So I like him. And as soon as Jussie met him, because Justin hadn't met him before, and I said, I think you're really going to get on with Blanco because he's just like you. And honestly, it took maybe 30 minutes when we were down in McLaren, and he said, yeah, you're right. He's a good bloke.
Yeah.
But speaking of Jordan, I always look at Jordan's Insta stories because he's always got some good stories up there. And I actually just watched my latest Netflix series, Part 4 series, was one that her recommendation, which was Unorthodox.
Oh, it's on my list.
Oh,
Good?
my God.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what another thing I rang my mum, said, Mum, you've got to watch this. It's the best I've seen. Brilliant.
Yep.
Holy moly.
I've added it to my list.
Thank you, Jordan.
We've got a few more tuning in. Let's just say g'day to some of our favourites. Joe Coombe, you know Joe.
Hi, Joe. She's gorgeous.
Leslie West, James Carrots is tuning in. Sandy as a party. Beck Brinley, Julianne Dillon. Hello, everybody.
Jules.
Thank you for tuning in. Crystal Hockey, Nathan McAvaney have all tuned in as well. Look, we've got...
I like that we've got blokes. I like that we've got a few blokes. That makes me happy.
You got? Yeah, you still got it.
You know. An old duck.
Okay, let's get stuck into our next topic of conversation, which are a few of the races, the virtual or augmented reality races that we've been seeing happening. Last week was the first Zwift Z Pro Tri-Series, I think it was called. I might have had that title wrong. Yeah.
It's all too confusing.
You're like, what's a Zwift? No.
Yeah, no. I do know what that is. I don't know how to use one, but I know what it is.
I don't know how to use a Zwift.
Simon Thompson, who used to work for Zwift, he came over. His dad lives just down the road. And he said, I can set you and Juzzy up on Zwift. I said, no, I don't think it's worth it. No, we can do without it. Thanks.
It would take you an hour to set it up, and by then...
Well, I'd miss the race. Let's face it, I would miss the start. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Or I'd do something stupid like T.O. did the other week and trip over the course. And that's a given.
Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of the racing, they had their first one on Zwift last week that Flora Duffy won. Now, anyone who knows anything about triathlon and knows Flora... You're not surprised that she's won a 23-kilometre race. The thing is with Zwift, though, and I don't know how much you're across it, but it's not just who's the fittest, strongest athlete. There's a gaming component as well. But Flora, I mean, she knows how to ride in a bunch. She knows tactics. She knows a bit of Zwift and everything. So it was great for her to showcase her strengths, I guess, in the Zwift race last week.
Yeah, it's good. I do know a little bit, and the only reason is because Sarah Crowley is actually based in Noosa right now. So she, before we got into lockdown, she was a smart girl, and she thought, well, where do I want to live for the next few months? And she actually has rented a 2-bedroom apartment just up the road. And I'm actually letting her come and use my pool because obviously I have a 20-metre pool in my backyard. So she lets herself in, uses the pool and leaves. And I had a little chat to her the other day when I was inside working, and she was out, and she obviously participated in it, which I thought was incredible because she actually had to get up at midnight to do it.
Yeah.
She didn't get to bed till 1:30, and she told me about it, and she said it's all about staying in the bunch for as long as you can. Don't do anything stupid, and it is really tactical, which is not dissimilar to a bike race in the real world. But so I did notice that it's not about just getting on and smashing yourself, unless you've got the goods. Unless you say you're a Cam Worth or a Lionel Sanders. Yeah, well, But what do I think of the virtual racing? Again, because I'm a little bit old school, I don't know. I know a lot of people are loving it, but I know there's a lot of people that aren't that interested in it because they're using this time not to do any high intensity stuff. They just wanted to keep it general, keep it basic. But I think it's great if you're lacking motivation. I think it's great. It's a great tool. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And that's Zwift, obviously, or the Ironman. They've also got the Ironman virtual racing as well. But that's sort of over a bit of a longer course. Although it was shortened the last week. But yeah, it's interesting, and full credit to anyone who's doing it and the commentary and all that kind of stuff because it's hard for sure.
No, it is, and. As I said, I think if I was still competing, if I was still a young professional competing, then I would definitely be set up on Zwift. I would definitely be set up not just on the bike but on the run as well because I just think it particularly because we don't know how long we're going to be in this situation for. So I think it's a really great training tool. I just wouldn't take it too seriously.
No, 100%.
Which I don't think anyone is. I don't think any of the pros are. I think they're using it for exactly what it's supposed to be used for. Yeah. And the same with a lot of the age group athletes too. And how cool is it? Like I see Joe Coombe all the time get excited about, tomorrow I'm going to be riding with Lucy Charles.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
That's what it should be about, for sure. For sure. I actually got a message last night from a mate who said this is why you definitely cannot take the virtual racing seriously. And there was, I can't remember how old he was, 50 or 60, but he did a 20K bike in 20 minutes.
Oh.
That's 60K an hour.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So you're just like,
It's on an e-bike?
Yeah, exactly. So, while I think it should just be taken as a bit of fun and an opportunity just to hang out and catch up from a social point of view, the whole racing component of it in terms of potentially qualifying for world championships slots and things like that, no.
I know Ironman was talking about that for Taupo, and that's when they lost me. Up until then, I thought it was great, but then it's foolish. And I know that they're in a bit of a pickle because how do people qualify?
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have the answer, but I don't.
Joe Coombs just said Lionel takes it very seriously, but that doesn't surprise us in the slightest.
But Lionel takes life very seriously.
Yes.
And I love Lionel. I think he's golden.
Yeah. He's great for the sport.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But he's just a very serious character, and he's either all in or not at all, and he's the sort of guy that he's going to do something, he does it 100%, or he doesn't understand why you would bother.
Yeah.
That's just his personality.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, did you hear, and I've got to give Jordan Blanco a shout out because I saw this on her Instagram stories as well, which pricked my ears up and made me do a little bit of researching. Ironman and Strava. Now, part of this Ironman virtual racing club type of thing, for those of you who don't know, the way it works is you basically have to cover the race simulation, but you can do it over a weekend or whatever it is. You don't need to do it all back to back. But what was happening was you upload it from your smartwatch or sports watch, whatever. A lot of people do it through Strava. Now, how it works. Now, this is my very basic way of trying to understand how it works. Is Ironman have outsourced that data collection to another company. Strava has meant to have the relationship with Ironman. That's part of their API, PDP, blah, 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 blah.
But a direct relationship.
Meant to be direct, yes. That's part of the agreement, the terms and conditions of allowing Ironman to use Strava information from athletes.
Exchange of data, yeah.
Yeah, but it's now going through this other portal, which then essentially all of that information that this other portal...
it all and saying, thank you very much.
Yes, and there's no reason really why that couldn't go out to all their other companies that they're working with. We're not saying that's what's happening, but Strava and Ironman had conversations and they've said, you've got to change it, didn't get changed in time, and essentially Strava the other day just went, we're done, bang, cut it off. Now, I understand from every point of view, everyone's got, their own dog in the fight and they're all trying to do the right thing, but at the end of the day, Strava was like, well, it hasn't happened and we need to shut it down because they could be in a lot of trouble, if these things do happen. But the thing that I found interesting were the press releases that came out. So Ironman's press release came out and said, Strava thinks that the data belongs to them and not to you. We think it's your data. It's all of your hard work and training, and we can't believe that they've done this. And Strava have put out a press release basically saying, well, we've done this because it's breaking the rules of our, terms and conditions. So that's why we've done it. It's not to say we don't want to work together, but right now we can't work in this
situation. This particular situation. Yeah.
So, I don't know, it feels like there's a couple of kids fighting in the playground.
Well, I think it is a couple of kids fighting in the playground. And, it's, again, I don't know if I'm technologically sound enough to give a good response here, but just looking from the outside in, they're both blaming each other. But at the end of the day, Strava has an obligation to its clientele as well, that information between the athlete and Strava, that Strava are able to say this is exactly where your information's going and nowhere else.
Yeah.
Now, like you've said, if it is going through a third body now that they haven't agreed to, well then I I sort of understand Strava getting shitty at this situation. And it's not like they just cut them off without warning. They've said, hey, listen, we're not happy with the way this is happening. Please change it or we're going to have to shut it down.
Yeah.
So, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one. But then you know what? We're also in a crazy situation right now that none of us, the entire world, is learning to swim again. So none of us know. So do we give a little bit of leeway in this predicament, in this environment right now? So I do see both sides. Sure. I don't often sit on the fence, but I think in this climate right now, we've just got to give a bit of leeway.
Yeah, and there's got to be a bit of compassion. Absolutely agreed. But I think Strava did what they had to do.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, and what's the name? The other company is Sport Heroes, I think it is. And I don't think anyone is intentionally trying to do anything wrong. But it's almost like they've tried to run before they can walk. So, and I hope that that relationship can be mended so that people can go back into doing it. What we all want to do. Like so those three companies and all the athletes all want the same thing. Yeah, so it's just trying to find the resolution. My gosh, we can be the mediator. Belinda and I will come in and be the mediators.
Right. I think we could do a good job. But, it is funny how one thing that this has taught me, this whole crazy situation, is how reliant we are on technology.
Sure.
Ooh, could you imagine if this had happened back in the day, when we didn't have Zoom or Strava or anything, even what we're doing now, or Skype? I mean, it would be weird. Like, what would we actually do? I mean, I know we'd survive because it's been done before, but we're so lucky that we're in a stage where, I rely on Zoom every morning. That's how I do my F45 classes, and I'd be lost without it. It sets me up for a great day. My sister comes over and she does it. And, we do rely on it. So I hope that they can get it sorted quickly because I know there's probably a lot of athletes out there that are relying on this too, that it sets you up for a great day. And like we said, I can have 6 days where I'm on top of this. I can cope with the situation we're in right now. It's okay. And then I can have one day where I just fall apart. Yeah. And life's shitty and I don't want to be a part of it. So, and I've got it pretty good here in Noosa. We live in a bit of a bubble. Yeah. So, it's not bad at all. Yeah. But for some people, living in some parts of Europe where they're not allowed out at all or maybe once a day, imagine if they didn't have this. So I do hope that they can get it sorted. Yeah, totally.
It actually, just talking about technology and how we all expect it so much from technology, particularly right now. It reminds me of a joke from one of my favorite comedians, and he was just talking about, he's in the plane on the way from New York to LA or whatever, and there's a guy next to him pissed off that the Wi-Fi hasn't kicked in within 30 seconds of the plane taking off. And he's like, you do understand that we're in the sky in a metal tube? That is ridiculous. Like, just be okay with what we're doing right now. Just calm down. Calm down. Give it some time. Yeah. Just relax. Oh, yeah. Very interesting.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yes. Mel Saltil. G'day, Mel. Always tuning in when she can. She says that she feels like she needs to get some big headphones on to be part of our team. It's a gang. We are a gang.
Yeah. Although, don't worry, I had problems. I was using these for my podcast, but they're no good. Actually, that's not that they're no good. They're too good. So I had to go back to use. Actually, you'll love this.
Here we go.
The headphones I now use for my podcast are these 1 million year old shitty. They're actually Ironman.
Oh yes.
Ironman brand.
I've got the same ones.
Oh seriously, they're like 10 years old at least, but they work a treat. So there you go. Never throw your old stuff away. Yep. Because eventually it comes in handy. So it's about as So Mel, you don't need these fancy. These work just as well.
These ones aren't actually plugged in. I just like wearing them. Luke Gilmer has actually said, "Hey Belinda, how's Justin going? Keeping fit? Good to see you on the Witsup chat."
No, Juzzy's good. Juzzy's actually coping with this pretty well. He's keeping himself busy. I know we know. Yeah. He's been really lucky. He works obviously for a coffee roaster 3 days a week, and he's still working 3 days a week. Everything's perfect there. because obviously where some areas of their business is fallen short, online coffee orders have gone through the roof. So it's been great for him. And then he's been keeping himself busy at home, fixing all the stuff that I say, that's broken, that's broken. He built me a chin-up bar the other day outside.
Really?
Very clever boy, this boy. Yeah,
I love
it.
A good one. Have you used it yet?
Yeah, well, I've used it. I'm not particularly good on it. He's a freak on it, of course. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Let's put it that way.
How many chin-ups can you do?
None. I can't do any unassisted. Really? No, I'm bottom heavy, baby. Telling you, it makes a big difference. I see all these little squirts doing them like this, like getting them all out, and I can't do one. Actually, I can do one. I could literally do one, but that's it.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, I have to use the band. But
that's all right.
I've got a few months to work on it. Don't worry.
Exactly. Okay, let's move this along because I know that you've got to go and do some other things pretty soon. PTO Hub. Did you see the announcement of the Pro Triathletes Organisation Hub? What's your thoughts?
I actually love it.
Yeah.
I love that the pro athletes are actually relaxing. They're not saying what they think people want to hear. They're just being themselves.
Yes.
And I've seen a few of the athletes now, and it's pretty cool. I like it. I think it's a great tool. Yep,
I agree, and I am super excited that they've asked me to be a host of one of the. I'm very, very pumped about it. But get this! Oh, look at this! Look at the pen I've got.
Ooh, me too. Woo!
Brilliant. So the what they've decided for the I don't know, whatever the platform that they want me to host is the PTO Kitchen.
Kitchen.
Me.
They realise that you can't. Well, this is good. You know why? Because they're helping you. Because they know that you'll at least get some ideas from this. Although you don't really need it. Let's be honest.
No,
You've got your living chef.
Yeah.
It's just that's silly. It's sort of wasted on you, to be honest.
Well, I think that what they're going to do though is it adds another element to it that I'll ask the stupid questions that others potentially won't.
The obvious ones, how to boil an egg. Is the water already boiled before you put the egg in? You'd ask stupid ones like, do you actually know that?
I assume you'd boil it first, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
I do, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Look, to be honest, I mean, obviously we've had a fair bit to do with the PTO, and I'll be honest, at first, like anyone else, I was skeptical. I didn't know where it was heading or whether it was going to work. I knew there were some really good people behind it. You know, obviously Rachel Joyce, Dylan McNeese, and Tim O'Donnell, Sarah Piampiano, for not only gorgeous people, super intelligent, great, with their heads in the right place. So once I did a little bit of research and asked a lot of questions, it's fantastic. And after what they've done this year already, you can't knock it. You can't knock it. And I think there's going to be some pretty awesome things to come.
I agree.
I can't say much more than that. But
I know now. I'm starting to think, what am I allowed to say and what can't I say? But I'm excited to work with some of the people behind the scenes there for a couple of reasons. But one of them is I want to be a part of this and see it grow for sure. And I think there's a lot of experience coming from many different angles. So I think the opportunities are going to be fantastic.
And I'll give you a really good example. So it's only just starting, and I know that it's had teething problems, and obviously the whole coronavirus is just threw a spanner in the works. I was looking forward to the Collins Cup this year more than you can imagine. It was going to be unbelievable. And, of course, it didn't happen, but a lot of things haven't happened. But I was watching the news last night, and I was watching they had a thing on the sport how Roger Federer and Djokovic are banding together as the top of their sport to pool some money to help the tennis players that are lower down the ranking that are maybe struggling a little bit. And I know this, it's all, I mean, I know many pro triathletes would love to be the 200th ranked tennis player with the amount of money they make, but it's all relative.
Sure.
But what I'm trying to say is that this is what we want our sport to do. We want the top triathletes in our sport to mentor and help in some capacity the ones that are coming through or the ones that might be struggling in times of, in crazy times like this. And if we can get triathlon to work the same way as tennis,
Yep.
then we've succeeded. Then I think the PTO has succeeded in doing what it eventually wants to do, which is give the sport back to the athletes, to the pro triathletes, and so that they're all responsible for each other.
Yep.
Instead of, the rich getting richer and the poor staying poor.
Yep.
So I really do think by next year we're going to see some big things.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, be good.
All right, you've got to go in about 8 minutes. So what?
No, we've got 25 minutes. No, 20 minutes. That's okay.
All right.
Yeah. We can put 20 minutes. We can do lots.
Oh man. Okay. I want to ask you. So we're asking 2 questions at the end of our episodes. The first one is, what happens in ISO stays in ISO. Do you have any of those stories that you can fill us in on?
Fancy asking me that stupid question. Of course I do. Jesus. Oh, where do I start and how much do I tell? Okay. So one thing I don't do, I know you gave me an example. Do you eat chocolate before 10 a.m.? Do you know, the funny thing is, true story, since I stopped racing professionally, I don't actually like chocolate that much anymore.
What?
I don't understand. Oh, don't worry, I've taken up other things instead, like red wine. But when I was training 25, 30 hours a week, I craved chocolate every night. There's no doubt. I don't think a night went by where I didn't have chocolate.
Yeah.
But since I've stopped racing and I still train twice a day, but 15 hours or whatever it is now, I just don't crave chocolate anymore. I don't crave sugar.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't mean I don't have a treat, every now and again, but I just don't crave it. But what I do crave and what I have every afternoon without fail is one of these and a little bowl of chippies.
Oh.
That's my big thing. So I come home from my last session before I start cooking dinner or getting dinner prepared. I pour myself a glass of wine, a small bowl of chippies. I sit out the back and I just chill.
Nice.
So, and I'm thinking I'm going to keep that one going way after ISO's done and dusted. I'm quite liking this little bad habit.
Yeah.
I suppose the only other thing that I can't believe I'm going to tell people, but who cares? Everyone knows I'm a nut. We've got two bathrooms in our house. We've got upstairs where the bedrooms are and downstairs. Anyway, for some reason, Justin uses the upstairs shower. I prefer the downstairs shower. So I shower downstairs. It has been known, because I just think we're in ISO now, so things are different and who cares. There's been the odd occasion where I've showered and I'm too lazy to go upstairs and put my pajamas on, so I've actually started prepping dinner in the nude.
Oh, shit.
and we've got windows right here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Justin will come home from his run, or he's been out on the treadmill. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting dinner ready." He goes, "Belinda, the windows. The street's right there." People are bored. Give them something to look at.
Give them a show. Dinner and a show.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I might keep that one going too.
I think you should.
So they're my two little weird ISO.
Oh my gosh.
But I am going to have to back off the wine a bit. I saw a stat on television the other day. They said 70% of people have increased their alcohol intake. And my sister works for Dan Murphy's, and she knows for a fact that that's the case. So I think I am going to have to start, once we're back to normal, backing it off maybe 2 or 3 nights a week.
But just cool your jets. You're all right for now.
I'm going crazy. That's right,
Noel has just said, "What time's dinner? I'm just planning my afternoon walks."
Well, it depends. See, if I have dinners early and I'm prepared, then I've got time to go upstairs and get the PJs on. But it's normally when I've rushed home, so normally around 6:30. So it is dark outside, thank God. It is dark. So you need to get some infrared, I think.
Oh, goodness. Quick question. Someone wants to know what wine you're drinking.
Well, funny you should ask. It is actually a Pinot.
Mm.
It's called Heirloom Pinot, Velvet Fog. Oh, that's
it was Jordan who asked.
Of course it was. Yeah, it's it is from McLaren Vale, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So yes, but tell Jordan. Actually, I'll tell Jordan.
Okay.
I have got a box of Molly Duca arriving on today. I just got the little message on my phone.
Ooh.
Now, Molly Duca is one of our favourite vineyards.
That's Rinnie's favourite as well, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Tim and Rinnie. Jordan knows it very well. She visited the vineyard there.
Nice.
Luke and Beth McKenzie. Yeah, there's a whole Brad Williams from America. There's a lot of us that like.
I love it.
Very cool.
I want to. Oh, Pete Coombe has just said peanut butter straight from the jar? ? Is that another what happens in ISO stays in ISO? Have you done that?
No, but I don't like peanut butter. We have it in the house because Juzzy loves it, but I don't eat it. I don't like it.
Oh, there you go.
It's not a crazy thing. However, I do drink juice. I do drink juice straight from because I'm lazy.
That's all right.
Disgusting.
No, that's standard.
I don't get a glass. I just chug it.
Yep.
Don't tell Justin, though, because he doesn't like that.
Oh, really?
He thinks it's terrible.
I think it's okay if I do it, but I think it's disgusting if Brett does it.
No.
I want to go back to a quick serious question. Paul Healy has just said, "Hi, Steph and Belinda. I feel for the pros. Would you say it's important for aspiring pros and current pros to have a plan B, for example, other work, part-time or casual jobs?"
Awesome question, and something that I actually, in my latest podcast, it's not up yet, with Kieran Linders, who was a young up-and-coming pro from the UK. And, obviously the UK at the moment is a disaster. And we had that exact conversation. And a lot of these up-and-coming pro athletes now do have part-time jobs. Steve McKenna's another one. He'd actually just given his up because he had a great year last year. He was second at the Challenge Family World Bonus, so he made a good chunk of cash last year. But he had to go back to work. So when this happened, and he knew there would be no racing, and he's also a guy that, he doesn't have a lot of sponsors paying him, so he needed to make money. And he went back to his old job. So he was lucky that he got his old job back.
Right.
And he's able to actually work. He's working pretty much full time right now, and then trying to fit the training in around it. So I definitely think they need a plan B. And if they don't have one, this is a really great time and opportunity for them to still get a little bit of training in and to actually sit down and either do some online studies or think about and map out a plan for the future. Because, and I always use Luke and Beth McKenzie as a great example here, because they knew that they were coming towards the end of their career. This was supposed to be their last year, which is, bit of a shame. But long before they got to this stage, they sat down together and they said, what do we want to do? Now, obviously, Beth has a profession. She was a psychologist, a school psychologist. She didn't want to go back to that. Luke wasn't sure what he wanted to do, so they sat down and they mapped out a plan with the business. So they're actually able to transition beautifully now into their next part of their life. Wasn't exactly the way I think they wanted to go out. I mean, obviously, they were both going to do Challenge Roth, and that was going to be the last big one. But there's an example of pros and, good pros that have actually sat down and thought about their future and what they actually want to do. Everyone always laughs at me because it took me so long to retire. I think I was retiring for like 2 years, but that's because exactly what you say. I didn't have a clear answer on what I wanted to do. I didn't want to go back to teaching, which is my profession back in the day. So I had to sit down and think, what can I do? And then I was lucky enough that, a few people said, well, do you want to do this? We'd like to have you here. And so I was lucky that a few opportunities came up. And the one thing I knew is that I wanted to stay in the sport of triathlon in some capacity. But, it was tough at first. And so I kept saying, okay, well, I'm not going to give up racing until I have clear understanding of where I want to go and what I want to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is much easier said than done. That is for sure.
Hey, I spoke to Sarah Crowley only 2 days ago, and here's a girl that's at the top of the game. She's one of the best in the world, and she's got years left in her. She's only 37, and she's got at least another 5 years racing well, because she is a racer too. So that she can stay at the top of her game for a good chunk of time. But even she's starting to sit down and think about what she wants to do in the future. She doesn't want to go back to her old career. So she's even starting to look, and she's a smart girl, though, we know that. So there's an example that's when you should start looking, way before. You don't start thinking about it when you're ready to retire. You need to have something in place years before. Yeah,
absolutely. I can only imagine the spreadsheets that she has started. Loves the spreadsheet.
And she's so good at it. I love her.
Oh, man. She had a look at my phone, the homepage of my phone that's just got icons all over it, and it nearly gave her a heart attack. She was just like, oh.
I know.
Organisation.
No one can even look at my computer. It looks like someone's just vomited on it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, goodness.
As long as it works for you, then it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Organised chaos.
Yes. That's you and I in a nutshell. Let's be honest.
Oh, man. And your point of getting some study in, I think, is...
Hi, mother friends, who's coming. Come in, gorgeous. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Yeah, I think the point of doing some study while you can is a fantastic idea. My other idea is if you are looking to upskill and you're wanting to, I don't know, say maybe edit some articles for a very well-established online multimedia platform by the name of Witsup.com, give me a call.
There you go.
Send me an email.
There you go. Oh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, we need... unfortunately, it has to be volunteer-based because no one's earning much money at the moment. But we actually need more editors, feature editors, because we've got so much content coming in.
Yeah.
I need help getting it back out. Grace Musgrove has just said, I think I'll finish my uni degree at the age of 30. I don't know. How old's Grace? 18?
Young.
She's a baby.
She's a baby. She's a gorgeous baby.
She's a good egg, that is for sure. All right, last thing before we let you go, if you've got time, your favourite thing that you have seen in the past week. What's something that makes you feel a little bit good about yourself?
Well, you know what I love? My favourite time of the day is afternoon walks with my husband and our doggies.
Yeah. And
just walking around our local neighbourhood and the conversations that you have with people that you wouldn't normally have a conversation with. So neighbours, but I'm not talking about your next door neighbours, but people that may live, 600-700 metres up the road. And just as you go past and having a chat, and you can see that on both sides, instead of just being, hi, how are you? Yeah, good, thanks, and then walking on, you actually have a genuine conversation where they are genuinely interested in what you're saying and you're genuinely interested in what they're saying. And just having that connection with strangers that you would otherwise just not have the time to give them in normal circumstances because, I've got to get the dogs walked and get home for this and that and the other. And now it's like, I have got time to have a talk and see how this person's doing. And you can just see sometimes it makes my day. I need that conversation. And other times I can see I've made their day. And even watching someone like my husband, who's a bit of a loner, who doesn't converse with people he doesn't know very often, even watching him open up and ask questions that he genuinely wants to hear the answer to. And I think we're becoming a nicer race of people because of this, which is so crazy to think. But just seeing people giving genuine time and energy to strangers, that's been the coolest thing for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I spoke about this last week. I can't remember. Everyone's losing track of days and whatnot at the moment. But the whole teddy bear hunt.
Yes.
So we've started doing that at home. And you've been to our house. You've seen, it's quite a busy street. There's trams that go past our front door. And so I put a big teddy bear in the window. And I was like, that's just not enough. I want to do more. So I've been putting up little jokes as well that are teddy bear puns. And then I was like, okay, that's still not enough. I need some more. So the latest one, I don't know if you saw, but
I saw.
Yeah, and so we
gummy bear.
What was it? What do you call a teddy bear without any teeth? The answer's in the letterbox. And then we put all these little. Actually, hang on. We put all these gummy bears.
So now I do like those. If I was down there, I'd be taking some of those. I like gummy bears.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So, I mean, from a purely selfish point of view, I love being able to see people smile and laugh and have a good time. And so it's bringing me so much joy, but then, and seeing the kids who are just like, and there's like 4 gummy bears in there. It's, it's cool. So that's definitely been my favourite thing this week.
Yeah. So I totally agree. And just, again, it's human interaction. So you don't realise how much you need it and rely on it till it's taken away from you. And even things like I used to get a bit slack with ringing my parents because life got in the way. But now I ring my mum and my dad every day. Yeah. And I speak to them every day. Sometimes it's only for 5 minutes, but it's taking the time and effort. And I'm not doing it because I think it's the right thing to do. It's because I want to speak to them and I want to see how they're going and they want to see how I'm going. And it's made us all slow down and appreciate the simple things in life. And I know we keep saying that, and I'm sure once we get back to normal life, some things will go back into our old ways to an extent. But it'd be great if we could just remember
Even just one thing, just one thing from this that we can take in, to the future.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to have to let you go because I think you've got to dash off now. I'm going to stay online.
I've got a big walk to do. I'm going walking up a mountain.
Oh, look out.
With a good friend.
Make sure you push through the heels, get those glutes going.
Glutes going, of course, yeah, good technique. You know how it is.
I do. BG, thank you so much. I always, as close as we are, and you'd assume that we're just like, yeah, no worries, we'll chat. I always appreciate that you've always got time for us. Thank you. I'm
the same. I mean, obviously, I was there from the start. We're best buddies, always. And you do such a great job.
As do you.
I sound like, to see where you started and where you've come from to now.
We're all your children, Belinda Granger.
I know, that's right. But I tell you one thing, I am very much looking forward to be able to go back to Melbourne, come and stay with you and Brett, share a couple of glasses of wine, and good meal. Brett's cooking, not you.
Actually, I forgot to tell you just quickly, I made a toasted sandwich for lunch, and you need to tell Juzzy this. It was pizza inspired. It was pizza sauce, ham, cheese, and pineapple in a toasted sandwich.
Oh my God,
it's beautiful.
Steph.
Pizza.
Honestly, what are we going to do with you?
You love it. I entertain you.
I do love it. You do entertain me. And I know that you know how to eat well too, because I've seen it. I've seen Brett make the amazing meals. So
yes, but it's definitely something I need to work on. I need to better myself.
Well, I think so. It's something you can start working on now. You've got time.
Yep. Now go away.
Yeah, go away.
Oh, shit.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you, dude.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
See ya. All right, folks. Belinda has gone. I just wanted to quickly say thank you so much for tuning in. Noel, controversial, has just said, no pineapple, Steph. I am that person who loves a Hawaiian pizza, and I'm okay with pineapple on my pizza. But that is the only thing outside of like your traditional form of pizza that I find is okay. Otherwise, I'm like a margarita. I'm a margarita girl. I like the tradition or the wood-fired margarita pizza. I could live on that. In fact, I think at many races, I have actually lived on margarita pizza for 4 or 5 nights and lunches and possibly breakfast leftovers as well. Nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to... Beck Clark has just said, when's the Witsup Zwift coffee ride going to be? Very soon. I've just had a couple of ideas surrounding it, and I've wanted to just test a few things out, have a chat to a few people, but... let me know if you're keen. We'll probably do it as a meetup ride, which means I believe you have to get an invitation from us to sign up for the ride, and we can only have 50 people at a time for that meetup ride, which is fine. We can start with that, and then we'll see how that goes. But if you're interested, even leave me a comment here, and I'll make note of who you are so that you can join in on our Witsup coffee ride. We would love to have you. That's on Zwift, obviously, but the proviso is that it is an easy social ride. It's just about turning the legs over, having a chat, and I'll have a few things planned, a few things in mind. I also just wanted to Nadine has said for the meetups, yep, she's keen. I just wanted to reiterate that we actually do need people to help us out in terms of features editing. We do have quite a bit of content coming in, but I'm running, it's myself and another 1 or 2 people who do help out a little bit in terms of editing, but we actually need more feature editors. So if you're interested, I'm going to be completely upfront with you. It will be a volunteer role for the time being. But please let me know if you're interested. It's a great way to upskill a little bit as well. We can teach you a couple of things. You can get to know the inner workings of said brain here, which is a scary place to be. Just ask Mega Hawk, who's just tuned in. It's a very scary place to be on the inner workings of this brain. But right now we need the help from the community. So if that is your strength and you're willing to put a little bit of time into it on a volunteer basis, I would love to hear from you. Maybe even send me leave a comment here or send me an email. It's just steph@witsup.com. If you don't know how to spell Steph, then you're in all sorts of trouble already, because I often talk about it on our podcast. Noel has said they need to follow you so you can invite them. That is on Zwift. Absolutely, we will get that sorted. You can follow me on Zwift at the moment. I think my handle is just Steph Hansen, but I'll add a comment and you'll see some social media posts over the coming days, and I'll let you know what we have planned. Jordan, I will 100% text you. Tina Stagg has just tuned in again. I don't think she means to tune in, but Tina Stagg, here's a bit of info for you. Tina used to work at a newspaper called the Mercury newspaper in Hobart in Tasmania back in the day, and my mum owned the pub across the road from the newspaper, and all of the journos would come in and all the editors would come in and have a beer after work or even during work at lunchtime. And so I got to know a whole bunch of the journos and editors at the Mercury newspaper. And I think that is where I started to learn a lot in terms of content, written content, writing press releases, etc., etc. Actually, Tina Stagg, are you out of work? Do you want to do some editing? That'd be great. Give me a call. What else can we talk about? Julianne Dillon has said yes, keen for the ride. The Coombs have said yes, fantastic. Always big supporters, and we appreciate that. Pam Goodley's already found me on Zwift. It's just come up on my screen. That means that my Zwift handle must be Steph Hansen, because she found me. Alison just said, if the time zones work, I'd love to join for the coffee ride. What I'm thinking, folks, is that we do a similar time to this, because everyone who's watching this can clearly tune in at this time. I think we're just going to have to see how it goes for a little while. So stay tuned. We will be doing it, and I will release a little bit of information in the coming days. All right, I'm going to go. I think I've talked too loud and my little friend's awake. Let's see if Brady can bring Frankie in and she can come in and say hello. I may have spoken too loud, may have woken her up a little bit too early. Alison Deenan, am I pronouncing your name right now? I know you told me that it's meant to sound like dinner, so I'm assuming it's Deenan. Brady, can you bring Frankie in to say hi? Jules Dillon's following me on Zwift. It's all just popping up. So fantastic. Thank you. We will definitely be organising a ride very soon. Pam, hi, I'm drinking wine now in California. Maybe okay for Zwifting. Here we go. Here's another wine. Thank you, Pam. Maybe it will be okay for Zwifting. I don't know. No judgments here. You're sitting on a stationary bike. It's meant to be a social ride. Let's combine all of our passions into one. Why not? Where is Frankie? So she can come. Here she is. Here's my little. Hi. Come here. Oh, you got all your bunnies. Here we go, folks. Oh, look at this face. Did you just wake up, mate? Yeah? What have you got here? Is that a bunny? All of the bunnies. Jen Annette. Nice racing on the weekend. Jen, hope you had fun in the Ironman virtual racing simulation. Oh no. Oh no, we're down to Frankie. Okay, I have to go clearly now. Oh, hang on. Oh geez, there's too many cords. Too many cords that can strangle small humans. Not a great thing to do, especially live on camera. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. Just thought I'd have a little quick wrap up at the end. Why not? Great to see you all. Thank you so much for joining in on the fun with Belinda Granger. Always a wealth of information. Always appreciate her take on triathlon, but the greater things in life as well. So thanks to BG for joining in. We are going to get out of here and stay tuned on all forms of social media for everything that is coming up soon, particularly this Thursday, which is Wednesday in North America. You don't want to miss that one. Stay tuned. Thanks, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Witsup Weekly Grind. Now, we do go live every Monday at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time on Facebook. So if you want to catch us live, make sure you tune in to our Facebook page so that you can comment, ask us a question, and just get involved. Or you can continue to watch us here on YouTube. Just make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell button, ding, that lets you know when we have uploaded another video. The Witsup Weekly Grind is one of many videos that we upload to YouTube to bring you as much content as we possibly can. Look after yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.